19 years ago, I was living my dream life, working in the magazine industry in fashion. I was in Long Island celebrating my job promotion, and there was a pool at the house. So I dove in thinking I was just having a swim, celebrating life as a 24-year-old adult. But I dove into the shallow end. My chin hit the bottom of the pool and shattered my vertebrae, and I was paralyzed in the blink of an eye. I was awake, underwater, and luckily somebody lifted my head above the water, and I said, "Call 911, you just saved my life." As I was being wheeled into the operating room, the surgeon was telling me that I had a 19% chance of surviving not only that night, but the next 2 years of my life. I would be on a ventilator. I would never be able to move my arms. I would never be able to speak because my left vocal cord was becoming paralyzed. And I couldn't think about how that could be my reality going forward. I will never forget seeing the hospital bed in my parents' living room. Felt like I ruined their lives. If I would catch the glimpse of a reflection of myself, all I would notice was a wheelchair, and I would burst into tears. Life felt unfair, like the rug had been pulled from under me.
Francesco Clark joins us now from his home in Bronxville, New York. You know, just first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Absorbing your story and what you've been through was such an experience for me, a learning experience in many ways. But I thought about, Francesco, we talked about physically standing, right? How do you get up? You don't have that option. So your stand is internal. It's in your heart. It is everything that you are. And it has nothing to do with the physicality of it, which is so inspiring because you can stand and survive through your mind and your will.
Thank you, Tamron. It's so nice to meet you. And we all have that inner voice. We all have that inner strength. You shouldn't have to survive trauma to realize your voice. And for me, it meant getting to near death and having my mother and my father near my hospital bed for me to realize that if I don't feel like I have a voice, my bossy Italian mother will show me what my voice is, and they'll pick me up from the floor and give me energy.
Well, that's interesting because TJ, our guest who was on earlier, talked about that circle of people around you because not one person can lift themselves up. It takes people around you. What did your mother, as you call her, your bossy Italian mom, what advice did she give you or what words did she give you after that painful part where you felt you were a burden on them?
The surgeon was telling the same prognosis to my parents as he had said to me, that I'd never be able to move my arms, that I'd never be able to breathe on my own, to speak. Forget about my legs. And as I was getting wheeled out of surgery, he said the same thing to my mother and my father, not realizing that my father is a medical doctor. And my mother turns to me, and in Italian, she said, "Sposta qualcosa," just move something. So I turned my shoulder. And in that instant, she looked back at the surgeon and she said, "You don't know our son." And up until that point, I had been completely alone from when I dove into the pool to coming out of surgery. And as soon as she said that, I realized that I wasn't alone and that, of course, I would get better because I had so much support and so much love from such a strong familial unit that there was no other option but to go up from there.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, you've talked about, in addition to your family, your mother, you just described, one of your heroes was Superman star Christopher Reeve, who became paralyzed in the 90s following that horseback incident that he was involved in. How did his death in 2004 change the trajectory of your life, the collision, if you will, of these two stories?
I had been dealing with a deep, dark depression for 3 years, dealing with the trauma of my new life in a wheelchair and dealing with survivor's guilt.
Ah,
I survived something that I should not have technically survived. And the days after waking up and the years after that, I also realized that the trauma was not only inflicted on myself, but also on my parents and the people that really loved me. And all I wanted to do was to become the person that could be worthy enough for them to care for me
Mhm.
and to almost like pay them back for everything that they had done to get me to this state of thriving. And when Christopher Reeve passed away, my Superman just disappeared. He
Mm.
was my biggest advocate and the biggest advocate for not only people with spinal cord injuries, but anybody who feels like they don't have a voice.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, I remember Barbara Walters had announced it on the news as I was going to physical therapy. I realized I need to take responsibility for what happened in my own life.
Mm.
And so for the first time in 3 years, I decided to leave the house
Ah.
and to go to this meeting to become an advocate for other people with disabilities. But in order to do that, I had to put on a real shirt. I always used to wear the same hospital shirt every day. I would shave my head bald every week. And I never looked in the mirror because looking in the mirror meant dealing and
Right.
facing myself. And I couldn't do that.
But you worked up the courage to face the person in the mirror, and who you saw in the reflection was who you are, which is an inspiration, which is a survivor. Well, I happen to know someone who was inspired by your story. ABC correspondent Will Reeve, Christopher Reeve's son, and he has a special message just for you.
Your story is one that has given me and my family and the spinal cord injury community so much inspiration, and I'm so touched every time that I've heard from you or from others who know you how much my dad meant to you in your journey with spinal cord injury. You've been dealt a hand in life that would cause so many other people to fold. You've gone all in, and your insouciant charm masks a fierce determination that is required in the fight that you're in. We're so happy for your continued success and health and happiness, and we'll see you soon.
Will was on assignment. He stopped to send that message to you. Thank you, Will. And coming up next, Francesco's not going anywhere. Why he says vanity not only saved his life, but also gave him purpose. We'll find out the rest of his story after the break.
My accident happened 19 years ago, but I refused to let it slow down my life or define me. My day starts early, and the first thing that I like to do is
getting my workout done. I use this standing frame every day, and it's great pain relief from sitting in the wheelchair. This is called a Geeker MD. I pedal it with my arms and my legs. I love it.
And then it's time for me to get to work.
Welcome to my office. I have everything that either inspires me or that I'm working on.
I go to the city.
Roberto's driving. I think he has a license.
I live a full, active, incredible life, and I'm excited for what's to come.
You are so fun to watch, Francesco. I mean, your story and how you've embraced this part of your journey. You're engaged now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it. What a great picture. Oh, my gosh. Now, you also have found a new voice with business. You found your lane in the business world.
Absolutely. It's interesting to think about because my spinal cord injury gave me the humility of how big life could be.
Mm.
The sense of family with my parents gave me this message and understanding of unconditional love. And my business, Clark's Botanicals, has given me the sense of self respect
Oh.
and also a way to become independent. So it's really tied everything together to working towards becoming an advocate for other people on an even bigger level, at a national level.
I love it. Well, your phone is ringing, so clearly someone's watching the Tamron Hall show and loves seeing you on. Thank you so much, Francesco, for joining us, and congratulations on your success and what you're doing for others. Thank you so much.
Thank you.